I'm here to introduce some images that I took this winter while on tour. And when I'm on tour, I don't shoot any episodes, but I captured a couple of images that I'm so excited about that I just have to introduce to you. So I'm coming back today and I'm going to recreate the setup and talk you through the composition and introduce those shots that I'm really excited about. So this first shot that I'd like to introduce is a very unique shot. I've never taken a shot like this before. And what had brought me to this spot was a glass-looking ball of ice that was dangling from underneath a tree stump that's right behind me here. And while we were shooting it, it dropped off. It was just held on by a hair-thin piece of ice. Well, I guess with the waves rolling in and splashing onto it, it eventually just dropped off. But it turned my attention to all of these other ones that were around here. And you can see there's a piece of reed grass right here. And on top of that reed grass had formed a ball of ice. And it was just very unique and odd looking, really, because this is all just water with little reed grass popping through. And the ones that were popped through enough formed a ball of ice on them. I really love the color of the rocks underneath of the water. It's a very reddish looking color. So that red color coupled with that very blue, crystal white looking ball of ice, it just popped out of the scene. So I went handheld with that one and I shot with my 70 to 200 millimeter. I think I was fully zoomed out to 200 millimeters. I was standing up with a polarizing filter on it because I really wanted to capture the rocks underneath of the water. And I shot it in two ways. One, I wanted to have a little bit of ripple in the water to give people an idea that this is water that they're looking at. And the other one was smooth, kind of glass-looking surface of the water. Now, I particularly like the one with the glass surface because I think the longer that somebody has to look at it to figure it out, the better, I think. You want people looking at your images for as long as you can. And I think this is a unique one that just draws the eye in and people are a little bit perplexed, but then once they figure it out, that's a discovery that they have made. So let me throw that image up for you now, and I hope you like it. It's a bit of a walk to the next location and the next two images. So I'm going to pack up my camera and hike around the rim of the lake. It's a lovely walk, wonderful views, and lots of memories of great times had in this location. I think as a photographer, it's always important to have a home base. And this is mine. One of my first trips to this location, I captured some beautiful images that I still am happy to look at, and it reminds me of that time visit. And I think that it's wonderful to return to places that you photographed and really revel in the beauty that you've seen there and the experiences that you've had there. And I love coming back here. And after 3 years, this tree log is still in the lake. It just changes location every year. Every year it's in a different spot. All right, this next image is of these rock islands here, and I've photographed these rock islands numerous times over the years, and these next two images have to be my ultimate favorite of all the images that I've taken here. This image here was a beautiful morning. It was soft and it was quiet. The sun had just risen, but there was a cloud cover and there was a mist that covered the mountains in the background just slightly to be able to soften the weight of them. And I was able to separate these foreground rocks a bit more from the background while still keeping that element of a mountainous lake scene. These three rocks here, I really tried to balance the weight of the three, and I wanted to have a gap going through. Let's see, can I do it here? Yeah, right there. I wanted that gap there, but the size of that gap was quite important. Now the gap on the left is not as important for me because I think that if I had two gaps, it would be competing on which direction the viewer would be looking in. And not only that, there was more of a shadow on the left-hand side, so it was much easier to focus on that gap on the right-hand side. I also needed to find that balance between those three rocks to be able to have the shadow of the trees on that central rock come through that middle gap. And with a long exposure, it created a line, a dark line of a shadow that leads the eye directly up to that tree. In the background on the left-hand side over here, you'll see that there's two much smaller peaks right here and here. Those smaller peaks were very important in the composition as well because on the right-hand side, we have a much taller mountain. I think that's Mount Fupushi right there. And on the left-hand side, I'm not sure the name of these two peaks, but if I had just included one of those peaks, I think it would have felt like the whole image would teeter over or it was lopsided in weight. So the relationship between the mountains in the background, how much of the water I was going to show in the foreground, how much of that gap I was going to show, and the balance between the two rocks and the shadow that was coming down from the tree. It's a soft, wintry, ethereal, beautiful image that I'm quite happy with and quite proud of. So I hope you like it. I'll put it up on the screen now. All right, this image for me is, wow. I always feel such a sense of gratitude when I find images like this. This tree here actually had fallen down. It's laying sideways. Its roots are still in the ground, so I think that this is still a living tree. The way that it has fallen down, one of the branches has arched its way Just a bit. I mean, if you were on the other side of this tree, you wouldn't have actually seen that arching branch right there, and you wouldn't have gotten this shot. When I came here, this entire place was covered with snow. There was no stream. Right now, I'm standing in the middle of the stream to be able to introduce this shot. So the mountain itself was the main subject of the image, with the arching branch as a frame with which to put that mountain in. The rock island on the left-hand side was a middle ground interest point, and I did incorporate that into the image, but it wasn't the main focus. There's two main rocks in the bottom of the image here, and I use those as well. It almost looks like an extension of the tree. There's some texture on it. There's snow on there, so it kind of completes that arc going around from the bottom all the way around to the top. But what I did, it was very important for this image to work, was I used the branch as uh, as a guide for the shape of the shadow of the mountain. And because the shadow of the mountain stops just to the left of the branch, you can really see the contrast between the shadow and the branch itself. There is so much interest in the shape of the tree, but I felt if I included too much of the tree, you kind of get lost in the tree and not uh, focus so much on the other aspects of the image, which the main subject is the mountain. To be honest, I didn't spend that long in this spot taking this image. I would say at the most 10 minutes, maybe. And then I came away with an image that I'm going to be proud of for the rest of my life. So uh, you can't you can't you can't guess when it's going to happen. You just have to get out and try. Hey, if you like what you saw, enjoyed the episode, like the images, don't forget to hit the like button and maybe consider subscribing and come back and see some more. Thanks, everyone. I'll see you next time.